Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Bommer BB5010-356-646. This is a wide throw hinge, as you can see there. So let's dissect the part number a little bit. First of all, BB stands for ball bearing. On a wide throw hinge like this, there are 2 ball bearing packets. 5010 stands for Bommer's nomenclature for a wide throw hinge, a hinge that is wider than it is tall. -356 is a reference to the size. That means that it's 3.5 inches tall and 6 inches wide. Okay. The 646 means it's in the satin nickel finish. Okay. Satin nickel. Available in several different architectural finishes from Bommer. Satin nickel is a very common finish nowadays and has been for a while. So this is a full mortise hinge. You can see the swag on the hinge leaves, which mean that when the hinge is closed, it's intended to be mortised to the edge of the door and frame so that those leaves are flush. Okay. Being a 3.5 inch hinge means that the hinge leaf is 123 thousandths thick, which is standard for commercial grade thickness versus residential grade thickness on a 3.5 inch tall hinge leaf. This hinge features a standard removable pin that's not seated down all the way, and when it ships from the factory it will be exactly like this, so that you could relatively easily pull that pin out and attach your leaves to the door and frame, get your door in there, and then drive the pins down. You can get it with a security pin version as well, meaning that there would be a hole drilled here. It would be tapped for a set screw, and then in the pin itself there would be a groove cut in it, such that when you seated the pin down and tightened that set screw, it would all but impossible to drive it out. I've tried. They don't come out that way. A standard hinge is 3.5 by 3.5. Okay, so this is 2.5 inches wider when laid open. So that's going to give you a significant additional amount of room to clear when the door opens. And why would people need a wide throw hinge? Well, it's typically because there's an extremely thick casing or some sort of treatment to the wall on the pull side of the door, or the entire unit might be set deeper into a frame than otherwise you would find. Meaning you could have a 14-inch thick wall and the door is set further into the center of the opening than it would be to the outside. I've seen, coastal homes on the Gulf Coast of Florida, very old, southern style homes that have very thick walls on the first floor, and those doors are always set much deeper in, and they have very wide throw hinges. Things like this were bigger to help get that door swung out and around the wall so that it can at least get to a point where it's open back out around the wall closer to 180 degrees. And by the way, if you're considering wide throw hinges, you might need to consider extended lip strike plates. If you've got single doors, you might need to think about those as well. Bommer makes these sorts of hinges with several different sorts of options in terms of, like we said, finish, but obviously size. 3.5 by 6 is common. 3.5 by 5 is very common. 4 by 5, 4 by 6, 4 by 7, 5 by 6, 5 by 7, 5 by 8 are sizes that are not uncommon. Different versions of the tip. This is a button tip. You can get acorn tip, steeple tip, urn tip. Okay, a variety of different sorts of security pin options like security stud. These hinges can be made with square corners, obviously, as you see, but also 1/4 inch or 5/8 inch radius corners as well. Screws are included in a complementary finish, as you can see. Bommer is a full-line manufacturer of all things hinge-related. Not only less common hinges like wide throw hinges, but their architectural line of hinges is complete and exhaustive of every sort of hinge. Full mortise, half surface, half mortise, swing clear, and every variant thereof. Bommer is extremely capable of making most anything that you might need with only very few limitations. The last thing I'd like to point out about the second to last thing, below this video there's a link to the cut sheet which shows everything important dimensionally about this hinge. We'll give you the locations of the screws, etc. And then the last thing I'd like to point out is the Bommer logo. Right above it says Made in USA, a fact that Bommer is quite proud of, as am I to represent them. If you have any questions on the Bommer BB5010-356-646 ball bearing, wide throw, 3.5x6 satin nickel plated hinge, or any other Bommer product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.